Dan. I'm one of the owners here at Studio Blue. This is a Sculpt all-level class. So the first half of class is designed more with reformer exercises, so speed skaters, lunges, things like that we can do on the machine, but we're going to use our mat. And the second half of class is going to be designed more as kind of classic Pilates mat work. If you're newer to this class, a couple things to keep in mind. You don't want to feel any joint tension, so shoulders, knees, hips, anything like that. Try not to push through that type of pain. I'll give you a lot of different options on ways to make this more dynamic, a little bit more challenging. You can always peel it back if that is serving you today. And just a reminder that every day is going to be a little different. So really just kind of check in with how you're feeling. And all of that said, let's get rolling. So we're just going to set up so you can place your weights at the top edge of your mat or soup cans, whatever you might have. If you have them, they go up there. And then we're going to start somewhere at the center of your mat, facing me, feet about hip bone distance apart. So inner hip bone rather than outer hip bone. Just soften the knees a little bit. As you exhale, nod your chin and start to roll down through your spine one vertebra at a time. Allow your head and your arms to be heavy. And as you exhale, root through your feet and slowly, slowly, slowly start to roll up. Let your head come up last. You can circle the arms up to the sky, looking up. Exhale, push the walls away, nod the chin, and again, roll down one vertebra at a time. And softening the knees, maybe give the head a little roll, left and right, up and down. Again, root through the feet, roll yourself up. Arms lifting, looking up. Try not to overextend the back. Just feel a little bit of a lift through your chest. Arms reach out. One last time, nod the chin, take it down slowly. Softening through the knees. Exhale, root through the feet. Roll up. Arms reach overhead. We'll come down to the chest, and then we're going to step the legs wide to 10 and 2. So feet definitely a little bit wider than your shoulders. We're going to sink down into a squat. So it's a turned out squat, a sumo squat. Check that your knees aren't collapsing in. You're using your butt muscles to push the knees towards the second toe, and make sure that the knees aren't over the toes. Exhale, rise up and open your arms out. So stretching the chest open. Inhale, sink down. Hands to your heart. Exhale, open the arms, rising up. Inhale, bringing it down. So these first initial squats, you might have to adjust your feet a little narrower or wider. And you want to really feel like you're moving through your inner hip joint. You're not tucking the tail, you're not overly arcing the tail, or maintaining neutral spine and neutral pelvis. Now at any point tonight, if you want to grab your light weights, even though I don't have them yet, go for it. If you're feeling warmed up, your neck is feeling good, you can grab your light weights in hand. So keep going here. I'm just going to turn so you can see profile view. So as you're coming down, making sure that you still have this little bit of a natural curve to your lower back. You're not tucking or overly arcing. You're somewhere in the middle. And as you rise up and open the arms, you're not popping the chest forward. You're keeping your core connected. A couple more like this. Option, you can always bring the arms up and overhead, starting to warm up the back, the shoulders. I'm starting to give the armpits and the chest a stretch. If overhead doesn't feel good today, again, open right out to the side. Every time you rise up, see if you can put weight evenly through your feet so you're feeling your glutes and your thighs. Last two. And last one. Let's meet down in your squat. If you have weights in hand, just keep them at your chest. Roll the shoulders out of the ears. Keep the waistline drawing in. Make sure your back is at a diagonal. It's not overly rounded. You feel your upper back muscles are on. Maybe sink down a little bit lower, making sure, again, your butt isn't tucking under. Feel weight through the first ball of the foot, the last ball of the foot, and the center of the heel. And as you push down into those 3 points, feel your thighs and your glutes turn on. Exhale, rise up. Turn your feet to face me. They're still going to be pretty wide, definitely a little bit wider than your shoulders. Now, hands can be at your heart. Again, if you have weights already, they can be at your chest. You're gonna start to bend into your left hip, reaching your hips back in space. I'm at a diagonal, and my bottom foot, knee, and hip are all on one line. They're in one plane. I'm gonna rise up and then sink into the right hip, sink back, rise up. Sink, rise up. And again, depending on your body, you might have to narrow your stance slightly, or you might have to take it a little wider. But you want to feel that your outer glutes especially are helping to decelerate you on the down, and they're helping to push you back upright. Right, inhaling to come down, exhaling up. Keep going. I'm just going to show you what it looks like from the side view. So I'm reaching back. My back is pretty neutral, pushing up, sinking back, pushing up. All right? Couple more like this. And do the feet have to be perfectly parallel? No. Depending on your posture, it might feel better with a little bit of a turnout. That's fine. Our hip joints are all shaped pretty differently. One more to your right. And then rise up, heel toe the feet together. And if you don't have your light weights, you can grab your light weights in hand. We're gonna take the feet back wide again. So into that straddle, toes are pointing forward. We're gonna start to hinge into that left hip joint. The arms are just gonna kind of rest along the side of the body. Now I'm gonna walk my right leg in slightly, and I want most of my weight on my left thigh. Now I'm gonna pull the right leg in, tap the toes, and I'm gonna reach it back out to the side. Hands can come to the heart, reach, tap in, reach. Now as you reach, you can start to reach your arms back in space, pull them to your heart, reach back. Now eventually, once you kind of get the mechanics of the movement, angle your eyes down about 2 to 3 feet in front of you on the floor so your neck isn't kind of craning or overarching. And make sure as your leg taps out, your knee isn't buckling in, but you're using these outer glutes. Now, if you want to advance this and make it a little more dynamic, as you pull your leg in, rise up, balance, and then I'm going to sink back, tap out, rise up. You don't want to go too fast. You also don't want to go too slow. And you'll be aware pretty quickly how your balance is today. If it's a little shaky, or if it feels really good, right? Every day is going to be a little different. And so this is the progression. You can always peel it back. Side view on this, right? We're tapping, reaching, tapping, reaching. Coming all the way back up to full standing. Watching that the front knee isn't going past the toes. You should really start to feel your glute heating up and the muscles of your feet. Last two, either version. On the last one, I want you to come up and balance. You can have your big toe on the floor, or you can have that leg lifted. Just make sure your hips are still square, and your standing leg, make sure it's not locked. Now your weights are just at your heart for now. Shoulders are rolling out of the ears. You're gonna take your right leg, reach it forward. You're gonna pitch your weight just a teeny bit forward, a little bit of a lean. And then I'm gonna open that leg out to the side, reach it back, pull it in, open, bring it forward, pull it in. So I'm making kind of a rectangular shape with my right leg, and it's balance work. So I'm trying not to let that leg touch the ground. I'm trying to keep my hips square the whole time. And you should be feeling not only your leg, right, your thigh, but your glutes and the muscles in your feet. Now, if this feels a little too intense in the arch of your foot, you can always wear shoes today. Couple more. Good. We're gonna end reaching back and then shake out that standing leg. Nice. So we'll take the feet wide again, toes are forward. Good. We're gonna start to hinge into our right hip joint. Holding there, weights can come to your chest, shoulders roll down. You're gonna tap your left leg in and tap it out. So right now, my right leg is just gonna stay completely still as I tap the left leg in and out. So this is gonna be the first option on this. It's gonna be the more stable. All right, you can kind of see in the mirror, my body's just one long diagonal. Now, if you want to add on, you can open the arms as you reach out, pull back in like you're hugging onto a tree, open, shoulder blades pull together, hug. So as you open, shoulder blade work. As you pull in, it's chest and front of the shoulder work. Now again, if you want to add on, you can pull in and up, you can reach out and down. So now that standing leg is straightening as we rise up. It's reaching out, barely touching, rising up. Making sure that that right knee doesn't start to buckle inward. The shoulders are melting out of the ears. Again, feeling some glutes, lower leg muscles, and some of these smaller intrinsic muscles in the feet. And again, these are all ways to add on. You can always peel it back. Last 4, either version. 3, 2, and last one. We'll come up to balance. So your hands can be somewhere around your chest, shoulders soft, right? That left leg is up, or you can have the toe barely tapping to the floor. And just holding here for a moment, noticing if your balance feels different from side to side. Make sure that your standing leg isn't locked. You're gonna lean just a little bit forward, and then take that left leg, reach it in front of you. You're gonna go out a little, back, in, out, forward, in. So as that left leg is moving, nothing else in the body is. Your hips are square, your torso is still. Right? You should feel that right foot starting to come alive. And this is great if you like to walk, hike, run, especially running. This is going to help build the strength in your feet, your glutes. You might notice one side's a little shakier than the other. If you need to catch your balance at any point, you can come back up, shake it out, and then come back into it. Last one to the back. And then bring it forward, come up to standing, shake out that leg. All right, so turning to face one end of the mat, feet and thighs are going to come almost all the way together. And we're going to bend the knees and come into a chair pose. Now again, hands and weights can come towards your chest on the shoulders, roll open. Weight into your left leg. You're going to tap your right leg straight back, pull it straight forward. So similar to what we just did, except now you're reaching back in space rather than out to the side. So this is called scooter on the reformer. All right, you can always do this a little bit higher up. You can always do this a little bit lower down. Make sure your front knee isn't knocking in. And as the leg reaches back, you can always reach the arms back, pull them in, reach back. And your tricep kickbacks, if you have heavier weight that you wanted to use, that'd be okay on this, or the lighter weight works as well if you really think of engaging the triceps. If you want to add on and make this more dynamic, you reach back with the right leg. You rise up. So again, there's that moment of balance. And then I start to reach my right leg back. So I'm flexing through the hip. My knee bends. I tap barely. And then I press through that standing leg, through that left leg to rise up. Hips are square. Reach it back. Again, these are all options. You might notice from the balance work, your foot is already working quite a bit. Notice if your first toe on that standing leg is trying to do all of the work and see if you can even the workout in all the toes, the arch of the foot. Good, last two. Last one. Ooh, might lose your balance. Rise up, pause at the top. So again, balance for a moment. You can have your right toe still on the ground, or you can have that leg completely lifted. Holding for 5, shoulders soft. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let that leg come down. Shake out the standing leg. And then you don't have to turn anywhere. I'm going to turn so you can see me coming back into your chair pose. And now your left leg reaches back. Hips are square. Make sure you're not dropping or swiveling into the hips. Your right leg is grounded. You're going to tap that back leg in and then reach it out. So we tap it in, tap it back. Okay, and you can start to reach the arms back, bend in, reach back. And then start to notice, does one side feel a little different than the other? Reaching, pulling in. Again, you can always do this from a higher position. We don't necessarily have to be really low. Last two, and then we're gonna give you the option to add on. So the next time you won't reach back, hold. As you rise up, push into your standing legs. You're using your glutes a little bit more dynamically. Hands come to your chest, you're balancing, hips are square. Start to reach that left leg back, then the hip flexes, then the knee bends. Reach, exhale, rise up. Right, again, you're not going super slow. You're also not going really fast. Right, if you've ever ridden a bike up a hill, if you go too slow, you will literally fall over. So again, we're not going super fast, but you don't want to go so slow that you feel like you completely lose your balance. And you can always peel it back to that first option. You can always keep the left toe on the ground. So at this point, really starting to feel that standing leg. Some different muscles working in the foot. Last 4. Really picture, feel that glute pulling you up. Reaching, pulling you up. Last 2. On the last one, we're going to balance. Right? So holding at the top, you can have your toe on the floor or it can be lifted. Relax your standing first toe. Make sure ears, shoulders, hips, everything's one long line. Shoulders are easy. Standing leg is just a little bent. For 3, 2, 1. Let that leg come down, shake it out, and then take your weights forward to a top edge of your mat. Roll down and walk your hands back into a plank. Now this can be knees down plank, hands plank, or at any point you can come onto your forearms. So holding here, make sure the head isn't completely dropped. You're also not looking completely forward. Your eyes are somewhere in the middle. Your waistline's lifted, inner elbows are facing one another. Feet are pressing down. Now, if you want to add on, feet and thighs come together. You can take your left leg, tap it to the outside of your mat, pull it in, right leg taps out, pull it in. Again, these are options to add on. If plank today feels like that is your challenge, that's where you stay. If you want to make this more dynamic, again, you can start to add on. One leg's moving, nothing else in the body moves. One more with the right leg reaching out and pulling in. Lift the hips up through down dog. Soften the knees a little bit. Tailbone's lifting. Take an inhale. As you exhale, walk forward. Grab your weights again. Roll up. If you have heavier weights, you can grab them. And if you have light weights, that's cool. No worries. I'm working with light weights today. So my right leg is going to come forward to the top edge of the mat. My left leg is going to come back. So when I bend my knees a little bit, that back left knee is just about underneath my hip joint. My arms are just gonna start by my side, shoulders roll back. And then I take my torso and bring it just straight down, maybe just a couple inches to start. And just notice what happens to the pelvis. Does one hip start to hike? Does your pelvis start to tuck? Can you keep it neutral? Rise straight up, curl the biceps, lower down, lower the arms. Rising up, lower. Check that the front knee isn't going too far past the center of your foot. You can always start to bring these a little bit deeper, but I encourage you to go slow on the way down. So you really have to resist gravity and try to find both legs on the way up, especially that front glute. Right, now if you want to add on, arms can always reach out to the side for more shoulder work. They can come down. Right, and at any point you can always just say, nope, no weights today. That's okay. Make sure that your back foot is parallel. So you're working on mobility in your toe joints, the arch of the foot, the hip joints, and strength all around those places. Last two. On the last one, come down, pause. Straighten your back leg, so your left leg is long. Your front knee is over your ankle. Now, again, you can walk this in to make it easier. You can walk it back to make it harder. You can take, if you have weights, your small weights into just your left arm. If you have soup cans, that might be hard, so you can just work with one. Your right arm opens to the side. You're gonna extend your left arm back, pull it in. So the hips are square. The back leg is reaching long. And as you reach back, you want to feel the back of the arm. You want to feel your tricep. And the elbow doesn't have to be too high above the ribs, because we want to avoid excess neck tension. And so the neck is long, shoulders are soft, triceps working. Right. And again, if you have soup cans, you can still do both arms on this. Last two. Last one, and then take the hands back, or the weights back into both hands. Let's step up. We're gonna roll down. Weights come to the floor, step back into a plank. Yep. So from here, knees can come down, toes relax, and you wanna find a place where your hips are in line with the shoulders and the knees. The elbows are gonna start to bend. We're just gonna go halfway down to start, keeping the shoulders out of the ears. Exhale, press. Inhale, bend, maybe halfway to start, and push. Now this can be done in full plank, right? Keeping the waistline in. Now if you want to start to go into full range, you can come down. Just watch that the shoulders don't start to rise up into the ears. The waistline stays in. And you're really controlling it on the down and then pushing back up. Controlling it on the down. Just one more, inhale down. Press up through down dog. You can pedal at the feet, bending a knee, dropping through the opposite heel, giving the calves and the hamstrings a little bit of a stretch. And then walk the feet forward to the hands, grab your weights again, roll up. Nice. So we're gonna come back into that chair pose. And then this time, right leg steps back, right? Hips are gonna stay square, holding there and breathing. Right, hands can come to your heart, shoulders soften out of the ears, waistline's in. We're gonna tap that leg forward, reach it back. Bring it in, reach it back. So making sure that that front leg isn't moving. Nice. All right, once you feel secure in that leg, let's keep it there. It's grounded. Hips are square, shoulders are rolling down and out of the ears. So you can stay with that or bend into both legs, bringing your body a little bit upright. So your ears, shoulders, and hips are one long line, rising straight up, and then coming down just a little bit to start. So rising up, coming down. Now your arms can come by your side. You can curl on the way up. Inhale it down. Making sure that that back knee, if you're coming into these full split lunges, is just about under your hip or just behind it, and your front knee isn't going past your toes and that front heel isn't lifting. Right, now, if you find this version doesn't feel good in the toes or the hips, again, you can always come back to this version, right? So this is kind of the first step. Second step, we're in these split lunges. You can start to increase your range of motion. Again, check that the hips are staying square. Your body, for the most part, is staying pretty upright. Right, so this is kind of the same action that when you're going up and down stairs, same mechanics. Slow on the down, maybe adding deltoid or shoulder work. Making sure the weight is even on the back foot. Right. Option weights can always come to your chest. Right, just a couple more. And then come down halfway, pause. Start to lean forward so your back leg is straight. If your front leg needs more support, just walk that back leg in. Right, if you have weights, both the smaller ones come into your right arm. We exhale, reach back. Inhale, pull in. Your left arm can reach out to the side. Right arm back, pull it in. Right arm back, pull it in. Right now, if you have heavy weights you're working with, you can have them both in each hand. A-okay. Soup cans, again, that's gonna be a little bit more challenging. Keep the back leg nice and long. Keep rooting through that front foot. Making sure the knee isn't rolling in. Good, last 3, 2, last 1. Arms come in, weights can come into either hand. Rise up, shake out that standing leg, roll down. One last time, we're gonna step back into a plank. Now this might be a forearm plank, this might be a knees down plank. Spread the fingers if you're on the hands. Make sure your lower waistline isn't sinking, but you're lifted. Shoulders are rolling back. If you look at your feet, check that the weight's even. Now as you exhale, if you want to add on, left leg, bend it, barely tap the floor, reach back. Right leg, bend, tap, reach, bend, reach. So alternating from side to side. Now, if you want to add on, you can start to cross that knee over. Shoulders stay square. And you're starting to get a little bit more motion through the ribs and the obliques. All right, finish off to your last side. Hold your plank. Take a full breath. Exhale, hips lift. To down dog one last time. Soften those knees a little bit. Lift the tailbone. And then soften the knees to the ground. Push back for 1 child's pose. Take a full breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And then roll up. And this is where we're gonna be on our knees. So if you have a yoga mat, you can fold it. If you don't, you can always grab a towel or something just to pad your knees, because we're gonna be kneeling. Now on this series, if you have soup cans, it would work 2 pounds or 3 pounds. You don't really wanna go heavier than 3. I'm gonna demo it without weight. You can always add it in. If you wanna add it in You can always take your weights to the front edge of the mat right in front of you, just so you don't have to move around too much. So starting, you're gonna take your right leg and you're gonna reach it out to the side. Now your hips are not gonna be perfectly square. Just see how much can you drop into that right hip without forcing it. And if this gets really crampy in this hip joint, you can always flex this long leg and rotate the leg out slightly. Otherwise, toes are pointing towards me. And we're gonna start to lean a little bit away from that long leg. So we're leaning to the left. So from the nose all the way down to the pubic bone and through the leg, you're a pretty long line. Hands to your heart to start, shoulders roll down. Now imagine the base of your ribs, right? They can drop, your obliques are on. As you inhale, arms are gonna come down by your side. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, hands by your side. And then exhale, hands to your heart. So you wanna root down through your bottom shin so that bottom glute is working. And then you wanna start to feel this top waistline. So this can be done with just one hand at a time if that feels better. But as you have weight coming towards the top of your head, your obliques, your abdominals have to work to support you. Keep the pelvic floor and lower abs drawing in. And if you want to advance this, you can always reach your arms overhead and then push them back in by your side. So they can reach overhead and pull back in. Again, this is one of those that you want to make sure you're not feeling a lot of back tension, but you feel the side of your obliques, right? Otherwise, peel it back. So we're working the proper muscles. Last one, either variation, right? And then arms come in by your side, and you're gonna take that left arm down to the ground, so the hand is under the shoulder, and you're gonna take that right leg and lift it, right? So the waistline's in. Top hand can be at your ribs as a reminder, or reaching up to the sky. Now take that right leg, see if you can lift it a little higher. As you inhale, lower it to the ground. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Now eyes can stay at me, or you can always look down towards your bottom hand to give the neck a little stretch. And you want to feel that not only your top glute and outer hip is working, but this lower supporting glute is as well. Really reach into the ground so your shoulders are rolling out of the ears. Last two. And on the last one, let's hold. Right? An option on any of this stuff where we're on our knee and hand, you can always do the side series where you're truly on your side. As you exhale, can you lift that leg a little higher? And then lower it down, coming into a child's pose, facing me, arms reaching forward, hips pressing back. Take a full breath. Exhale, let it out. And then rise back up onto your knees. Right? Your left leg is going to reach out long and leg about in line with the hip. And again, you might notice one side feels pretty different than the other. So you can always flex this foot and turn the thigh bone out. That might ease any cramping that you might have. Otherwise, toes are facing me. You're going to lean away from that leg. And if you take your right hand and just bring it to the top of your ribs, so to the left ribs, you want to feel that there's some tone there. And you can start by bringing top hand behind the head and down by your side. I'm rooting down through my bottom shin. All right, if this is feeling okay, both hands to the head, both arms to the side. But you want to make sure that this is an abdominal exercise. It's not, oh my God, all I feel is my back. This does not feel good. So you can always find one of those earlier variations. Good. Keep lengthening through that top leg. Keep rooting down through your bottom shin. Keep the pubic bone lifting a little. Option if you want to add on, arms can reach overhead, palms facing one another, and the palms push to face the thighs. So we reach open, we push to reach the thighs. Open, shoulders softening out of the ears, and down. Open and down. Last two, either variation. Letting the arms come down by the side. Now, we're gonna take that right hand down, right? Hips are square, flex the top foot. We're gonna lift it up. And you might have to adjust that bottom arm a little bit. Make sure the shoulder's out of the ears. You're lifting through the bottom waistline. Lifting through the top leg, we're gonna inhale it down, exhale it up. Top arm can always come to the sky. And you wanna oppose the hands. So one is pushing into the earth, right? It's Earth Day. One is reaching up to the sky. Or wait, I think Wednesday's Earth Day. I know it's this week. Either way, rooting down into the ground while one leg is lifting up towards the sky. Keep your bottom shin rooting. So that bottom glute is working here as well. Eyes can always look down if that feels better. And the neck, you can always truly come onto your side if that feels better as well. Last two. And on the last one, let's hold up. Take a breath. As you exhale, can you lift that leg a little higher? Lower it down to the ground. Push back child's pose. This time, toes together, knees can open a little wider. Arms stretch out towards me. Hips pressing back towards the feet. Take a full breath. Down into your stomach. Allow the hips to soften. And then rise up. If you haven't had any water yet, grab a sip, and then we're gonna make our way onto our back. So this is where, if you have like a little pillow or a towel, you can place it behind your head. Otherwise, let's come all the way down. Knees bent, feet flat. And we want neutral pelvis. So there's just a little bit of a natural curve to our lower back. Hands behind the head. And as you exhale, we're gonna nod the chin slightly, curl the head and the chest up. So your eyes are looking somewhere over the tops of the knees. And then lower the chest and the head down. Exhale up. Control it down. So it's still abdominal work on the way down. Now check that your glutes and your hips are not overly gripping or working, but you're using that kind of gentle compression of your abdomen to help stabilize the spine, especially the lower spine and the pelvis. Now we're gonna add on, as you exhale, we lift the chest, the right leg comes up tabletop, we're gonna twist towards it, come to center, lower the foot. Left leg floats up, we twist towards it, everything lowers. We lift, find that rotation, drop it all down. So lower body is still staying still as the upper body finds that twist. So working the obliques now as a rotator, as a mover, rather than a stabilizer. One more to your left. And then bring it all the way down. Arms reach to the sky. Palms face one another. Imprint the lower spine and float one leg at a time up tabletop. So the shins are about parallel to the floor. Draw the lower waistline in. Exhale, right heel taps towards the floor. Inhale up. And then left heel towards the floor. Now, the closer your foot drops towards your body, towards your pelvis, the less, I don't want to say work, but the less compression it's going to have on the body. And then the further away your leg reaches, the harder it's going to be for your abdominals to stabilize your pelvis and your rib cage. So let that be your guide. Wherever you feel more stable in your back, your pelvis, your ribs, that's where you're going to start to reach your leg. Now, your arms can always reach overhead, and they can stay there. This is going to make it a lot more challenging for the rib cage to stay down. So if that's already a challenge for you, you can always bring the arms back up, or you can always take them out by your side. Right? Just a couple more like this, tapping Bringing it up. Okay, one more to the right. Once you finish that right side, hug the legs into your chest. Take a little rock from side to side. And then settle the feet down to the ground one at a time. Arms rest. Exhale, press into the feet, curl your tail and start to roll into a bridge. So the knees are about 90 degrees. And you want to feel that as your hips lift up, the front of the hips and thighs are opening. The ribs are still pretty heavy. Exhale, roll down slowly. Upper spine, middle spine, lower spine. And then again, roll back up. Now, if this just feels really tight in your hips or your back tonight, you can always take the feet just a little wider. Maybe try a slight turnout. Especially after all that leg work, your thighs might just feel a little tight. And a couple more like this, rolling up, articulating, opening hips, feeling the back of the glutes are on. And last one, we're rolling up to the top. Feel like the knees are reaching over the feet, the heels are gently pulling towards you. And as the hips are lifting, the waistline and the ribs are drawing in. We're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Exhale, bring it all the way down. And hug the legs again into your chest. This time, grab the back of your thighs. Nod the chin. We're going to roll up to a balance point. So your feet can be relatively dropped on this to start. And I'm using the back of my thighs and my biceps to help lift my heart a little bit. Feel the neck is long as well. Waistline's in. As you exhale, the right leg is going to extend, and then we bend it in. And then exhale, left leg extends, and we bend in. And you can press the thigh into the hand a little bit so you feel the back of the hamstrings kicking in. And then as the leg gets longer, kind of trace the inner thigh bone or the inner thighs down towards the hip. So you feel the inner thighs, the deep abdominals, deep hip flexors. Now you can also do this with the arms forward. Exhaling, one leg reaches, we bring it down slowly. Reach, bring it in slowly. All right, if you want more support, hands back to the thighs, A-OK. Softening the shoulders. And then let's end. Right leg extends, left leg extends, thighs are together. Now again, hands can be at the back of the thighs to help lift your heart and decompress your lower back, or arms can be forward. We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Grab the back of your thighs, push the legs into the hands, roll yourself down to an abdominal curl. So I'm just off my shoulder blades, shins are parallel to the floor, left leg reaches long, my right shin is going to pull towards me. I'm going to exhale, switch, exhale, switch. The knee is right about over the hip joint, waistline's drawing in, and you can use your hands on top of your knee to give your upper back a little lift. Right, if that doesn't feel good in the neck, just take the head down. If you want more abdominal work, hands behind the head, but try to stay lifted and keep the head heavy into the hands. Just one more on each side. Eventually ending to your left. We'll bend that leg in, lower the chest. Take one hand, or take each hand rather on your knees. Let your knees and thighs open. Let your feet open. And just allow your inner thighs to let go for a moment. Your tailbone's pretty heavy. Your ribs are heavy. Inner thighs are stretching open. Fold the thighs back together. Hands to the back of the legs. We nod the chin. We're going to roll back up. And now the legs are going to reach out in front of us and the hands are going to come back behind us. Toes are pointed. Your fingers can start by facing out, or if you want to advance, fingers can point towards your feet. Hands definitely just a little bit wider than your shoulders tonight. We're going to roll the shoulders back and open, opening the chest, opening the heart. Stay here, right? Just enjoying the stretch. or start to press into the feet. Lift your hips like you're going into a bridge, and then take your eyes to the sky. Try not to look behind you, but just up to the sky. Inhale, the hips come down, reset your shoulders, and then reach through the legs, press into the feet, lift up through the back of your glutes, back of the arms, upper back. Inhale down, exhale, lift. And it's gonna feel like your weight is reaching backwards through your upper body, while the weight is reaching forward through your lower body. And last one, exhale, lift, hold. All right, belly's in, legs are really strong. Lift through the glutes, roll the shoulders open, take it down slowly, right? Take the feet out just wider than your mat. Hands come onto your shins. We're sitting tall. You might prop yourself up on a pillow or your mat. Your toes are pointing straight up. As you exhale, nod your chin. Keep the waistline lifting as you spine stretch forward. Your hands can come towards your ankles, or maybe they reach past your ankles. As you exhale, restack, lower back, middle back, upper back. Head comes up last. And again, nod the chin. Keep the waistline drawing in. Right, make sure you're not collapsing forward. Restack it up, building up through your abdominals, your back extensors. One more like this. Nod the chin, round forward. Good. Shoulders nice and loose. Restack. Good. Allow the head to come up last. Nice. And then you're going to turn to face me if you're not already. And you're going to bend the knees. So the knees are pointing to your left. Your feet are flexed. And your left foot is pressing into your right thigh. Shoulders are just nice and loose. And I'm going to take my left arm down to the ground. I'm going to take it kind of behind me a little bit. And then I'm just going to allow my right arm to follow. So my hands are wide. And I'm in a little bit of an upper body twist. I'm kind of folding over my left thigh. Now I can bend my arms, just kind of coming down a little deeper into this stretch. It should feel like quite a stretch in the side of your ribs, maybe right in between your shoulder blades. And then you can gently extend the arms and lift the spine. So you can think of this as kind of back extension with a little bit of rotation, right? You can bend coming into more of a stretch, right? For under the armpits, for the side of the ribs. And then extend the arms, lift the heart, maybe coming up to the fingertips. I usually feel a bit of an abdominal stretch or hip stretch on this as well. One more, taking it down. And rising up. Good. Start to walk the hands to center, and then see if you can switch legs without too much assistance from the hands. So now the knees are pointing in the opposite direction, right? They're pointing to the right. I'm going to take my right arm a little bit behind me. My left arm comes up, oops, and over. So my hands are definitely a bit wider than my shoulders, right? My left hip is not going to necessarily be really rooted down, and that's okay. I'm going to start to bend into the arms, letting my head be heavy, softening the shoulders. And then as I inhale, I'm lifting my heart. I'm not forcing this through my lower back. I'm just feeling a bit of extension and rotation through my upper spine, and then bending, taking it down, healing it up. And so this is a play off mermaid. This is something we can do on the reformer with resistance. But tonight we are just creating our own resistance with our mat and with our bodies. Last one, bringing it down. Bringing it up. Nice, and then coming back to center, and we're gonna make our way onto our belly. So the upper back has had some rotation now. So it should be a little bit easier for us to find some extension through our upper spines. So the hands can be somewhere in front of the shoulders, legs, hip distance. They can always go wider if that feels more comfortable. Give your hips a little shimmy from side to side, and find a place where your hips feel even towards the floor. Your pubic bone is heavy. Abdominals are lifted. Roll the shoulders out of the ears, and just float the chest up a couple vertebrae. So in this version right now, we just want to feel that the extension's coming through our upper spine, and then we're taking it back down. Shoulders nice and easy. And again, rolling up. So just coming up a couple vertebrae, pubic bone heavy, waistline lifted, taking it down. Now adding on, we can float the chest up. We float the arms up as well. So abdominals, back extensors are on. We lower the chest, the hands, and the elbows. We float the chest up, the arms come up. Elbows are pulling gently back and down. So I want you to feel those muscles right in between your shoulder blades and lowering. Now, if you want to add on, we lift the chest stays lifted. As we exhale, we reach the arms forward. This requires a whole lot of abdominals. As we inhale, we bend the arms and pull back. So I'm exhaling to reach, my waistline's lifting, my upper back's working, and then I'm pulling back. So this is just all ways that you can layer it up. You can always layer it back down. You can always switch the breath. Inhaling out, exhaling back. Last one, either variation. And with your arms in by your side, lower the chest and the head. Take the hands underneath the forehead. Bend the knees, windshield wiper the feet from side to side. Allow your pelvis to roll with you back and forth. Easing into the shoulders. And then bring the legs to center. So the peel back on this is actually going to be, you can come up to your hands and knees and you can do the same exact thing with your leg. Otherwise, shoulders roll out of the ears, pubic bone heavy. We're going to lift the left leg up. It doesn't have to be very high. You don't want to feel too much of a change or shift in your pelvis. You're going to bend that leg, trying to keep the knee just hovering off the ground. As the leg bends, you want to start to feel your hamstring, your foot is pointed. You're going to lift it up a little bit, lengthen it back out. And again, bend, same leg. So you're feeling your waistline draw in and the back of the hamstrings. Lift, reach back out. And you want to focus on keeping that leg nice and parallel. So you're working kind of the rotational aspect of the hamstrings. Right? Controlling the thigh bone and the lower leg bones. Waistline still lifting. Last one, shoulders are easy. Reach it out, lower it down. Reset the shoulders, reset your stomach, right leg lifts. We bend the knee, try to keep the knee a little bit off the ground. Lift the thigh up slightly, reach back out long. And again, we bend, pointing the foot. Maybe find a little lift, reach back out. Good, keep going with this. Right, the version on your hands and knees. Right? It allows a lot more motion on the hip. You can reach, bend, reach, bend, reach, bend. So if that version feels better, A-okay. Otherwise, just two more. Checking in with the shoulders and the jaw, last one. And bringing it all the way out. Just give those legs and hips a little shake from side to side. Push back to child's pose, knees open. Arms stretching forward, hips pressing back. Take one full breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Walk your arms over to the left. Stretch out through that right arm so the side of your body gets a nice big stretch. All of that kneeling side series stuff, it was working. And then arms walk over to the other side. Stretching from fingertips all the way to the back of the hip. Make your way back to center. Rise up to the hands and knees. Fingers spread wide. So your left leg is going to reach back behind you. You want your toes on the ground for this. And then I'm going to root down through my left arm, and I'm going to take my right hand to my chest. I'm going to keep it at my chest. I'm going to push through the left arm as I rotate my upper spine a little bit to the right. And then I come to center. And again, a little bit of rotation. So I'm rotating by pushing that bottom arm down, opening the heart. Maybe I lift the top arm, so chest stretch, bringing it down. And the only reason my head's moving is because my upper spine is moving. That's dictating the motion on this right now. Really feeling the mobility through the upper spine, front of the left hip. Bring it down, switch hands. So, and legs, right leg reaches back. Set the shoulder blades wide. Left hand can come to your chest. And then you can add that little bit of rotation through the upper spine. It doesn't have to be a ton, right? Try not to force it. Inhale down. Root down through that right arm, that standing arm. Rotate. Bring it down. Right? Maybe adding the arm reach. And down, reach, and down. And last one, either version, bringing it down. And then hands and knees to the ground. We're gonna take the right knee towards that right hand, kick the foot open, send the left leg back for pigeon. So your hands can be somewhere in front of you, and you can kind of just to move the hips, shimmy a little left and right. Find a place where you feel centered, and then you might come down onto your forearms. Right? Figure 4 stretch is a nice alternative to this if it feels better on your joints. Right? Try to soften into the shoulders. And as you inhale, try to let your abdominals relax a little bit now. So I want you to breathe down into your belly. And just kind of picture that breath moving down into your hips. And it's going to feel different from side to side. You should feel a really nice kind of outer glute, outer hip stretch on the right. Good, rising up. You might take a 3-legged down dog, or just simply switch left leg forward, right leg back. Right, hips are square. And you might decide, right after you shimmy a little left and right, if this side, right, each side is different, doesn't like this, right, you can always come onto your back, figure 4 stretch instead, and you'll still get a really nice hip stretch. All right, so either variation. Good. You might have already come down onto your forearms at this point. Make sure you can still breathe. If you find you're in these stretches, really any movement, and you can't breathe, ease out of it just a little bit. One more deep breath. Nice, and then make your way up through a down dog and eventually into a forward fold. If you're in down dog, you can pedal out your feet, bending a knee, dropping the opposite heel. So opening up the calves and the hamstrings. And just kind of ease the shoulders out of the ears. Right, if it feels good to hold on one side, go for it. And then just make sure you switch if you're holding on one side. And then eventually walking your hands and feet towards one another, coming into a forward fold. So get really heavy for a moment. Right. Knees a little bent, arms heavy, and head heavy. Take an inhale. Bend the knees a little more as you exhale, root through the feet, roll up. Good. And then we're going to open the arms, and you're going to take your left hand in between the shoulder blades, and then your right hand can come on top of that elbow. So you're rooting down a little bit and then drawing that arm slightly in. and resisting it. So I'm pushing my left elbow into my hand slightly, opening through the armpit and the tricep. Right, making sure that the eyes are somewhat forward, the ribs are somewhat in. And then we can open the arms. And then right hand in between the shoulder blades. Left hand comes on top. We're rooting down a bit. Pulling in, not forcing it. If you're hypermobile, I want you to think more of pushing this elbow into your hand rather than just pulling into your mobility. Still breathing, focusing the breath a little higher up into the chest. And then taking the arms down. They can clasp together behind you, drawing the knuckles towards the floor, and then just reaching the arms back a little bit in space. So you're opening the chest and the shoulders. And then nod the chin, roll down, keeping your hands together. So your knuckles are gonna reach towards the sky. Shoulders are still rolling out of the ears. Let the hands come down first by your side. Soften the knees one last time. Roll yourself up. Inhale, open the arms out to the side, looking up. And then exhale, we'll end with the hands at the heart. Thank you so much for working with me tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. You can always email me, dan@studiobluepdx.com. Otherwise, we'll see you soon. There's 2 classes every day this week. If you have any requests, always let us know. Mike is doing a low back workshop this Saturday. And that's about it. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Whitney. Good to see you, Sandra. Thanks, Mom. Thank you, Chloe. All right, signing out. Thank you, thank you.